What Kohima witnessed and what I felt, they have a deep relationship. I have seen the Naga people take what has been given to them, and whether it has been threats from what they call the underground, the taxation, the extortion, which is called taxation, the harassment, the intimidation, the death threats. I have seen it, and they hold a special meaning for me because it also meant to me that the Naga people were kind of okay with it, and somewhere they did not want to speak up. Not because they don't have the courage to do so, because that courage has been exhibited now, but because there are other important things in life that one has to do, and that's where one likes to concentrate. However, now that an Angami contractor was threatened by a group, and you know which group that I'm talking about, the unprecedented outpouring on the streets of Kohima at the MLA junction has really been heartwarming. And why I say that it has been heartwarming is because uh, leaders, and especially the youth leaders from various groups, came out. And this is the way to tell the government that enough is enough, and now it is time for you to take action. So while it makes me feel good also, I'm also a little concerned. I don't want this to escalate any further because, like I had discussed earlier with you, General Bedi, Lieutenant General Bedi, who is the chairman of the Ceasefire Monitoring Committee, had also said that the five groups with which the central government has signed a ceasefire agreement has not given them the license to intimidate, threaten people. And here, a contractor was given a death threat. And how was it put? I mean, like, a death threat is a death threat. But here he was saying that it was capital punishment. And therefore, now that people have come out, and in the monsoons, when we are seeing what is happening in Zuneboto and other places, the way there are culverts which are getting washed off, so there are repair works going on, and so on. I think what the people of Nagaland exhibited today was a very, very powerful show. And this is against the Naga political groups because people want peace. And that is why, and that is what the government of India will always want, that there should be peace. And everybody should exercise restraint while also speaking up, because the Naga political groups have been on the rampage for a very long time, and I think a collective voice from the people of Nagaland has must have at least given them a clear indication that people are saying enough is enough. And in spite of the heavy rains, and from the photographs that you can see, people stood with each other, and they demanded an end to what has been happening till now. And this rally apparently was organized by the AYO, Angami Youth Organization, and it was held, like I told you, at the old MLA junction in the heart of Kohima town. And the AYO president, Kesosul Christopher too, narrated, yes, about this particular death threat that the contractor had got from this particular group. I'll come to the group also. But the way it has led to public outrage says something about the people's patience running out, and the government of Nagaland and the central government, they should make sure that this is handled well and handled now. That is very important, because the Naga political groups which uh, keep giving out threats and demand the tax, what you call taxes and I call extortion, and you know that it's extortion. They need to be booked under the law. And according to the AYO president Kesosul Christopher, he has said that they should be booked under the National Security Act, that is the NSA, and rightfully so. At this time, there were many youth leaders from different communities, the Chakesang, Lota, Pochuri, Sumi, Zeliangrong, Ao tribes, and who came up and gave speeches. And the message of solidarity was also strengthened by the representatives of the Naga Students Federation, NSF, the Eastern Naga Students Federation, ENSF, Business Association of Nagaland and the Confederation of Nagaland Chamber of Commerce and Industries, because obviously everybody is now fed up. Memorandum is supposed to have been submitted to the Nagaland Governor Ganesan, which was signed by the AYO President Kesosul Christopher and the General Secretary Needle Hutu Sechu, and it mentioned the threats that were issued to a local contractor, and this the capital punishment threat which was issued by the NSC and K Khango group, which is which has a ceasefire agreement with the government of India. And the way people came out and they followed it up with a proper memorandum, and they also spoke about the AYO, spoke about CFGR provisions where the NSC and K Khango agreed to not indulge in this threatening that disrupts economic and development activities and other essential services, and mentioned rules that prohibit the group from extortion, forcible collection of money, supplies, intimidation of people, and intimidation of government officials also. So the memorandum has also has mentioned all these issues which are very contentious, and they hope that the ceasefire monitoring group, ceasefire supervisory board, will resolve these. And again, what is heartwarming is the solidarity of the people, and what also gives hope is the fact that General Bedi has already spoken about against this, and therefore the kind of severe hardship that the public has to face, especially the economic hardship that people have to face because of this kind of extortion, which they call the taxes, and there are God knows how many taxes that the people have to pay. It is important that this is addressed immediately. Also, the AYO, they warned that there could be a civil unrest if these issues are not addressed. And the world over, we are seeing that civil unrests seem to have become part of everyday life, and I just hope that this doesn't need to happen in Nagaland. It doesn't happen. The governments of Nagaland and the central government should ensure that this is stopped, because it's high time that this is put an end to. And if you have a ceasefire agreement, then the rules which are written in the ceasefire agreement, should they not be implemented strictly? Should the citizens not be protected if the ceasefire agreement is violated? And that is what happens when this kind of extortion happens, intimidation happens, threats happen, and it's the common man that has to face the problem. And obviously you're going to be scared of the armed groups. So very important that the AYO has also demanded the confinement of armed cadres to their designated camps, and cessation of their activities in civilian areas as per the ceasefire agreement. And rightfully so. Why should they be allowed to meddle in the affairs of the government? Because when they are intimidating the public, then it is interference there. They've also said, AYO has also said that the government of India should stop legitimizing splinter groups by recognizing them if it really wants to come to a solution to the Indo-Naga problem. And they want immediate action against NSC and K Khango group for having violated the ceasefire norms. And they've also demanded that they withdraw the death threat. I mean, like, this is like a bit too much. I mean, you actually have to ask them to withdraw the death threat when there are rules, and in the ceasefire agreement they've agreed to certain rules. So they've demanded that they should, the NSC and K Khango group should withdraw the death threat and the directive to contractors that they have issued, and they should also be booked under the NSA 1980 if they do not do so. So that means it's like one more chance. So the AYO President Christopher and the General Secretary Sechu, they've emphasized that while AYO is a civil organization, it is ready to protect people if required. And I just hope that everybody is allowed to do their work, and the youth organization is not unnecessarily drawn into what is the job of the government. And hopefully, this issue will be addressed timely, and a solution will be brought to this particular problem of intimidation. But hats off to the people for coming out together, protesting what has happened, but stay calm. And it might take a little time with the governments, because governments have a way of functioning, but I'm sure with the way people came out in such large numbers at the old MLA junction in Kohima, the government is already on the alert, and there will be some kind of end to this problem that the general public of Nagaland faces every single day. And the reason why everything is so expensive, though it is always, when you're talking about, when I spoke about everything being expensive, immediately what came to my mind were the beautiful clothes of the various tribes, the beautiful jewelry, and the lovely food, the bakery, and the hardships also come along the way. But I just hope that next time when I'm there, things will be better, things will be resolved, and uh, bakery items, which are so great, can be had at much lesser prices. The beautiful clothes can be sold without having to pay taxes or even other things. Stay safe and keep your hope alive. We need to ensure that we behave like civilized citizens of a civilized nation, which is showing the way to the world, which has to show the way to the world. And Nagaland and its youth, you need to be commended for what you have achieved today and the fact that you have spoken up. But we also need to make sure that we control ourselves, and we don't get tempted when things don't happen the way we want them to, or at the speed that we want them to. This is the way we get the results. And I have seen it through the last 1.5 years, how things have changed in Nagaland for the better. Believe me, because I'm far away, I can see it. And I'm sure things will be better, because the youngsters of Nagaland from different tribes, different communities, are also now speaking up for their rights in the most civilized manner. I request the government of Nagaland, especially the Chief Minister Nifo Rio, to look into this matter like everybody would, like all journalists would when they put your view forward, to make sure that this gets resolved at the earliest. Do share this video, like it if you have liked it, comment at least if you haven't liked it, why you haven't. If you have liked something or you want me to talk about something in particular, please mention it. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so.